Wow, so many men arriving. Hello there, everyone.
And yeah, welcome once again. My name is Michal from Fulqrum Publishing's marketing team, and we're just waiting for my esteemed colleague Michal from the production team who just arrived. Hi there, Michal. How
Hi
are
there.
you? Alright, so we're all here now, and what we've got prepared for you today is showing off two new game modes that we haven't shown in any public betas before. And the first one we'll look at is the combat sectors. Now, before we start, many of you will be familiar with the lobby settings screen that I'm showing just now. What you might not be familiar with, because we haven't shown you that in detail yet, is the advanced settings option. And that's a new thing where you can personalize the amount of victory points and the maximum duration of the match. So if you feel like a short, quick, few minutes bout with your friends, you can do that. And if you prefer, especially in classic mode, for example, to do a long hours-long battle for supremacy, you can set it up in that way too. Let's try 3,000 victory points.
You can go up to 5,000.
Okay, well, we can.
Let's not overdo it, right?
Right.
We'll get our asses kicked long before that.
Should we set a different timer as well? What do you think, Michal?
Sure.
Let's... I think 20 minutes should be enough for the first match. Right. Alright, we're saving it, and yes, this time we've also got our silent but deadly teammate Josef from marketing playing on our side, and we've invited 3 of our testing team to play against us, so this should be interesting. I'm kind of worried. I think we'll get our butts handed to us this time, but we'll see. Let's do it.
Well, at least Josef will definitely win.
Oh, Josef will be helping the other team, you know that. Like, there's no way around that. That can't be helped.
That is the destiny. Let's go over then.
Now, we're primarily streaming to our Discord server, where it's easiest to interact with us. Come ask any questions you might have about the game, and we're at the same time multi-streaming to the Steam store page of Men of War 2, to our Twitch channel, and our YouTube and Facebook and Twitter profiles as well. So we'll try to monitor the chats on all the platforms and the comments. We don't want to discriminate, but honestly, coming to our Discord server, the official Men of War 2 Discord, is the best way to get engaged with the awesome community that's forming around our upcoming game, as well as ask any questions to publishers and developer teams. So, combat sectors, the game starts innocently enough, just like any other.
I'm taking the right wing.
Yeah, I'm taking the middle as usual. What's different about this game mode is that almost the whole map, except for these narrow strips on either side of the battlefield, is divided into sectors, and the amount of these sectors depends on the map size, which of course depends on the amount of players that's playing the match. And what you need to do is capture these different sectors, and depending on the amount of sectors you've got, you're getting the victory points that you need to win the match. So there's a lot of different strategies you can employ. You can try to capture just the necessary, let's say, majority of sectors, and you do that simply by moving your units there. The capturing process starts. And you can focus on defending just like the simple majority of the battlefield, or you can try to stretch thin and capture all or as many positions as possible. But then it might be easy for the enemy units to overcome your defenses and start taking territory, which you don't want to, right? And I can see our adversaries are already employing airstrikes. That's fun.
I would say it's quick rather than fun.
I mean, quick can be fun. And yes,
well, whatever floats your boat.
And yes, I forgot to mention that moderating the chat for us and taking all your questions is Dominic, your favorite community manager as well.
Yeah, easily forgotten. Doesn't matter. Hello, everyone.
So, do we have any questions for us today?
Yeah, of course. I would just like to mention that you can also ask questions that have been asked in the previous stream. We will try our best to answer as many of them as possible. And the first one, let's start on a serious note, is will there be a football mode in the game?
Not at launch. Let's put it that way.
I don't want to start another football war in the middle of Americas, right? But
That's
it
something
sounds like
I'd like
a
to see.
great idea.
Sounds like fun, like most definitely, but as I said, it's not gonna be at launch. Definitely not.
Yeah, so Diversant, thank you for your question, but I hope this answers it. Not at launch, but I think that with the modding possibilities that the game will have, everything is possible.
And of course there will be full modding support, so maybe the community will prepare such a fun sounding mode themselves. And yeah, as I predicted, we will be getting our butts kicked.
Yeah.
As you can see, our enemies are quite shrewd and are taking, or well, trying to take defensive positions in our territory, capturing the buildings here. So let's see if we can stop them from doing that.
I think we are succeeding.
Yeah, well, so far so good. But I already lost well, most of my good units from the first echelon. So instead of doing my usual artillery support, I'm relegated to infantry for the most part until the second echelon unlocks in a minute.
Wait, what artillery support?
Exactly.
I didn't see anything since the start.
You're gonna be trolling me again the whole time, won't you?
Yeah, it's like my favorite pastime.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so while you guys troll each other, we have a question from Hayagia. Sorry if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Is it possible to spectate normal matchmaking games?
Not matchmaking, but you can spectate in the lobby. Because the spectator role is basically a special role in the team. And what matchmaking does is automatically assigns people to the two teams. So yeah, you cannot spectate matchmaking games.
You will require specialized filter, basically.
Yeah.
And given that the focus is stability and the speed, we didn't want to have people intrude on matches, bringing down the overall team.
A question related to that is from MinMax. Is there an option for Spectator Delay?
I'm not sure what Spectator Delay would be.
I suppose that if somebody spectates a game, the players probably not want him spoiling their units to the other
right.
side.
So the spectator wouldn't see the game in real time, but right, yeah. No, that's not how it's done, because again, it would create additional significant load on the resources if you had to kind of stream different data to different players from the same match. So no, that's not planned currently.
But if you really don't want anyone to spectate you, even when playing the lobby games, you can always kick them from your own lobby, so you don't have to be afraid that somebody will be giving your units to the other side.
Exactly. And of course, if you're streaming the game, you can always set a delay on the stream itself, so it's not in real time, and that exploit can't be used.
Alex on Discord is asking, is there a mode where the factions aren't mixed?
You can set it up in a lobby. That's a lobby function where you can decide that each team, like Team A, will only be Americans, Team B will only be Soviets or the Third Reich. That's a possibility, but there's no specialized like game mode beyond that, as far as allegiance is concerned.
Oh, and now our favorite question from Champace: will there be other factions added? Sorry, like the British or Japan?
And my favorite answer is not at launch. But it is a possibility that in post-launch development we will add more factions. The decision has not been made yet, and we are not ready to share any further details at this point.
Legacy is asking on Discord if this stream will be available later. Will it be?
We'll check the technical quality this time. I think we've managed to sort out all the kinks, so I think so.
Alright, Mr. Artilleryman, could you move your units a little bit? Look, I need bodies.
Yeah, I am moving that. Let me just fire one shot and I'll get right to it.
While you do that, another question from Diversant on Discord: is there a replay option? Will there be replays?
Yes, currently all games are being saved for a replay, and you can access that from the menu. And of course, during the replay, as in the actual game, you can turn off all the interface elements. With default is Shift F11. So I'm just showing that now. But of course that's not the ideal way to actually play the game, so what we recommend is when you want to capture some nice screenshots or footage to actually use the replay feature. And there you can pause at any time, disable the UI elements as I just shown, and make arrange the camera as you see fit and everything without having to worry about losing a match. So yeah, that's what we recommend as far as taking screenshots and recording videos is concerned.
Now this one will probably be aimed at Michael. Minmax is asking, what is your favorite player-made suggestion that you've read about?
Player-made suggestion?
Yeah, I suppose something that was implemented based on the player feedback.
Well, frankly, I do like the fact that the players were happy about the classic mode, which is my favorite. So the bigger the army, the better, more fun funneling the units in. So I guess that would be one wish that I really like, the fact that we were able to implement.
Question from YouTube from Tomáš Roder: how will the graphics work, and will the game develop in a more realistic or arcade way?
Well, we're showing the graphics now on the stream, and there have been plenty of videos made. Of course, we're constantly improving those as well. We've recently published an announcement on Steam, a devlog that goes into detail of implementing features such as PBR, or physically based rendering, which greatly improves the graphical fidelity, let's say. What was the second part of the question? Sorry.
Yeah, that was if the game will be developed in a more realistic or arcade way.
I would definitely say it's not arcade. Like it depends on what you mean by realism, because it can mean slightly different things to different people.
If I can answer this one, it will be developed in its own way.
That's
you know
probably
what
the best
is on
answer,
the
yeah.
market at the moment? It will never be Company of Heroes 4, but it will never be just a copy of Gates of Hell. So every change, every stat will be its own. Every feature, again, will be pertinent to the game we are making, not some other game.
Also, I'd add that there is multiple settings that can adjust these arcadiness or realism. For example, the classic mode that you talked about.
Yeah. Like, you have a choice of what you want to play. I feel like we are bringing up the plethora of options that you can choose from. So if you want something more hardcore, you turn off the UI, you turn off the icons, you turn off everything in the realism mode. You make sure that the stats are much more harsher on you. That's the way you can play a realistic setting in Man of War 2. You prefer to have a quick match with friends, you choose one of the matches or modes that we have, and you can have a 15-minute match if you really want to, because you don't have time for anything longer. So we prefer to give choice to the player, and I think that's the way to go. We don't want to lock anyone in, and based on the player feedback again, we will tweak and improve varied components to this. So that's the plan.
Thank you very much for your answer, guys. Question from Zard TV on Twitch. Damn, that cannon looks OP. So, Mikhail, can you, as an artillery man, show him your main cannon?
Of course. Excuse me. So the thing is, I really enjoy playing with the big guns. So the heavy howitzers of various various types can be devastating. Like, there's no question about that. However, they are fairly slow to fire and also fairly easy to destroy because they don't take much to kill. Oh, damn it. And yeah, so it's not like they can destroy everything or anything in one shot, right? They can take care of light and most medium vehicles, medium armored vehicles. But for example, this Pershing will barely feel this thing, I think. There, yeah. Because howitzers are not armor-piercing weapons by design. So they have their place, but they're not like the be-all, end-all of armaments. And also, they aren't like an instant hit, and it takes a while to target them. So against moving targets, especially after the latest tweaks we made to the balancing of the game, the howitzers aren't that powerful, or as powerful as they used to be even. And also, if you really want to survive with your guns, you need to limit how often you fire to take advantage of the visibility system. because once they are uncovered, they are really easy to pick off for either enemy artillery or an airstrike. Yeah.
Understood. Question from Alex from Discord. Will the population limit in the mode you're playing be increased? I suppose he's talking about command points limit.
Yeah, it won't be. However, there are 3 basic battle modes or battle settings, let's say, in the game. The one is the standard battalion-based PvP that we are playing right now, where you have to select your specialized battalions, and there's a limited amount of units you can summon into the battle. However, there's also the combined arms mode that is kind of a compromise, where you do have access to many more units and many more unit types, but you still have to pre-select your army and set up and tweak the combined arms division, let's call it, that you will call into battle, and the CP, the command point limit, or the population limit, if you will, on the battlefield is higher in the combined arms as well. And then there's the classic mode that we've implemented, as Michal mentioned, based on player feedback after the first beta. And that's a mode that really gives players the most freedom in terms of what units and how many units they want to summon on the battlefield, because they have access to all units from their nation's arsenal, and they're not summoning them from like pre-selected slots like in the battalions, but they are using the manpower resource that generates throughout the match, and each unit costs a certain amount of manpower to summon, to call in. So if you want to have the least restraint on like the, let's say, population cap on the battlefield, classic mode is the way to go. If you enjoy kind of specializing and managing fewer amount of units, a more tactical approach that's especially focused on teamwork, then the battalion system, battalion modes are the way to go for you. And if you want a little bit of both, then I would go with combined arms. And we've won. That was a little bit unexpected, to be honest.
Yay!
I think our esteemed friends are going a little bit easy on us, and I absolutely appreciate that. So I've set up a new lobby. Let's see how quickly we'll get our adversaries in, and I will set up the match in the meantime. Now, the second mode we want to show you today is called Area Control, and I will explain what that is in a quick second. And let's do Nameless Height. That's a nice little map. We'll again increase the amount of victory points so we don't quit that quickly. I'll leave the default duration in this time. And yeah, Michal, we have a new lobby up already.
Yeah.
It will just
Maybe
take
you
a
could tell
few.
me you could write me the password, because it seems that the one that we agreed on doesn't work.
Maybe I made a typo, sorry about that. It should work now. yeah. Sorry about that hiccup.
Yeah, still not bad.
I mean, Josef was able to get in, so... I haven't changed the password. Unless... oh, okay.
So this is the new one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
And I think I'll select a different battalion this time, so I show off a little different type of gameplay. I'm gonna go with German tanks for a change, because, yeah, tank envy is real, and Michal was having too much fun with them. Let's see...
Also, apologies for interrupting. There was a question if we can show a realism game mode setting, but that's not scheduled for this stream, is it?
We weren't planning on it. On the other hand...
It's 5 seconds, so I don't think it's a problem.
Right, we can. We can actually do it right now, because that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize or don't take into account every time. And that's we've introduced the classic mode and the realism setting at the same time before the third playtest, I think, or second. I'm don't even remember anymore. Sorry about that. So a lot of people take them as kind of a package, but they're two separate settings. So you can play any mode, classic, battalions, or combined arms, on realism settings or the default competitive settings, and you can also play the classic mode without the realism setting. So there's really a lot of choice in Man of War 2 in terms of well, realism, as Michal explained before. So why not? Let's do area control and let's run it with realism settings, which is not the default. I think we
Don't forget to enable the package. So.
Yeah, let's. That's a good point.
We'll obviously close the lobby.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Alright, while you're setting it up, question from Legacy. What was the funniest blooper you had while making the game?
And the lobby is up again. Well, blooper. To be honest, I don't recall any. I know that's a boring answer.
There are no bloopers. We have fun playing, obviously, but maybe...
Well, not a blooper, but when we were playing during the beta with players and we got absolutely smashed, that's when I laughed really hard.
Oh, yeah.
You mean by Kozak and his bunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Yeah,
that counts as a blooper.
Well, we discovered a new strategy that day, let's say.
Well, since Josef wasn't playing with us, it wasn't really...
It was his fault, yes, that's true. That's absolutely correct.
I guess he got some extra money on the side for that. It's 30 pieces of silver.
Alright. So let's everyone get ready. It's all set up now. And yeah. But Yeah, like the most fun we definitely had when playing with the community during all our public playtests. Even though it was sometimes frustrating when some people showed us how effective spotters and stealth units can be against my artillery emplacements. But it's always fun even when you lose, at least for me. So. But I must say one of the most fun matches I had was when we were playing and one of our teammates decided to go all in on combat engineers. So basically he picked a combat engineer battalion and filled all the possible slots that allowed it with just combat engineers, and that doesn't really let you do too much damage directly, but it allows you to place so many mines and stuff like that that it proved absolutely devastating to the opposition. So yeah, there's always some fun twist on the gameplay you can find, and a lot of different ways to play, and that's fun.
Are we playing as Germans again?
Are we
We are the bad guys.
Are we the good guys?
Yeah.
Are we the baddies? But no, we're the insurgency. We're not the Nazis. We're like we're the good Germans.
By the way, we have a response from the guy we're talking about who went with the combat engineers build, and he said that he enjoyed it. So nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. All right, and we're in, and we're playing area control. Again, a game mode we haven't shown in the public playtests before, and it's another kind of twist on these capturing territory, kind of like capture the flag-ish type of gameplay. The twist is that there are a few areas on the battlefield. There we go, we've got 6, is it? Yes. The number and position can vary, so that's why I wasn't completely certain how many we're gonna get. And these strong points that we need to capture will again grant the owning team victory points. The twist is that you capture them by pushing the front line, so you need to utilize infantry or infantry-towed cannons, machine guns and stuff like that. And you need to push the front line around them, and if you're already defending a position that you're holding, then obviously you need to prevent the enemies from pushing the front line around your points. And once you do that, once you've captured them, then you start getting points, just as we did, and we're already in the lead. So let's see if we can repeat it and not lose.
I mean, win, right?
Yeah, potato, potato.
And since it appears that answering questions is what made you win last game, I'm gonna give you some more. This one from Minmax again. How do you gather data from live games to make balance changes? I mean, how does the process work?
Michal, do we have anything to say about that?
I mean, the whole process of how we are getting the balance the way we want it to be.
I would say
Well,
that, yes.
That's pretty simple. We have a bunch of dedicated testers, internal and external. These guys are immensely capable. We test and we test and we iterate and reiterate and we test. And that's how we get it. We play so many games that we know every single bit of the map. At least these guys do. I don't claim to. But we know the game pretty well. So it's just testing and testing and testing. Nothing brilliant to it. There are discussions around the balance. There are options. But it's mainly as much gameplay as we can get in. Trying to find problems, issues for each and every single unit that the game fields. And as Michael has mentioned the last time, based on this we've done some nerfing for the artillery, so it wouldn't appear as strong, but at the same time it remains the god of the battlefield. So I think we are doing quite well on this one. And it's one of the reasons why basically the Battalion gameplay is as it is. Chosen, curated and balanced.
I would maybe just add that yes, we do analyze, or the developers from Bestway are analyzing like aggregated data from matches as well. You might recall, if you've been following us for a while, that after some of the playtests we've shared like an infographic about the most used units and battalions with the best win ratios and things like that. So of course data like that is being utilized in gameplay balance decisions as well.
Thank you very much for both of your answers. Now we have a question from Diversand asking, is there map editor in public access? And similar one from Minimax, can players build custom maps? So can you please answer to that one?
Yes and yes. It's of course the editor is not available now, it will be available at launch. But there is a built-in editor available to all players, and anyone can create a custom map using it.
Mechrax is asking, does in standard mode allies and axis will be separated and not mixed? We have answered this one, I think, so can we again please?
Yes, of course. In matchmaking, there is no limit to the combination of units you can encounter on your team. There is no like allegiance limitation, but in a lobby you can set it up so that each team is only one side of World War II, for example, or even just one nation. So the choice is there, but we're not pushing it on everyone.
The player choice is the main thing here.
Exactly.
O'Connell on Discord is asking, so how does the stealth system works?
Michal, do you want to take this?
Sure. Pretty simple. Enemies have a cone of vision. This is something that you can display, especially in the traditional Man of War stealth missions. You can avoid the enemies, you can use silent takedowns, using knives, using snipers, making sure that the enemies do not raise alarm. You had chance to experience this in one of the missions that we made available in the bonus pack during the last 2 playtests. So that's how it works. You make sure that you don't raise alarm, you loot enemy corpses, you steal their stuff, use it against them, making sure that no two enemies ever get together, find out that you are moving in the area.
I would maybe add a little bit about Fog of War, because that might be part of the question. So when playing a mode with the front line present, which is either front line or for example this area control mode that we're playing right now, then on your side of the front line you have complete visibility, there's no Fog of War present, but on the enemy side there is Fog of War that limits what units you can see, obviously. It's not completely hiding, like it doesn't mean that as long as you're in the area with Fog of War your units will not be visible by the enemy at all. That's not the case. By firing, and I've kind of hinted at that when talking about the artillery, basically you can make noise. You make noise when you fire your weapons, and the amount of quote-unquote noise depends on the type of gun, on the unit, whether it's using a camouflage position, etc. And if that noise reaches a certain threshold, you become visible to the enemy team, even though you are technically in Fog of War. So that's how I was able to detect some of the enemy artillery that I sent my airstrikes against before, for example. And then there are some completely stealth units, like scouts, saboteurs, yes. And these will be hidden even when not in an area with Fog of War.
But they can still be discovered.
Yes, they still generate noise, they can still be discovered with that. They can get too close to units and be discovered with that. And there are units with improved stealth detection, and those will have an easier time detecting that. So for example, guard units. And that also creates like an interesting additional dynamic to the gameplay, where you kind of decide, okay, do I want to, does the enemy team have stealth units available? Do I need to take that into account? Should I place some guard units around my rear flanks where my artillery might be located? And all those decisions have to be made. And yes, if you get a good teammate, and for example one of you is playing artillery and you have a lot of artillery emplacements in the back, and they take scouts or artillery spotters and uncover the Fog of War on the enemy side of the battlefield for you, that can be a powerful team up. And we've done that too, and it's also like spectacular fun to me.
Well, as in every partnership, communication is a key, right?
Yes.
Okay, I hope this brief answer answered the question. Thank you. Another question from Champace. Are there plans for more buildable structures player can place?
So we've got quite a few structures you can actually place on the battlefield. Now, these are not typical RTS structures that would allow you to summon extra units or, you know, unlock new technologies or what have you. That's not what Men of War is about. But they are more defensive fortifications. They do provide a lot of extra cover and things like that. You can place mines on the battlefield as well. And we have, I believe, implemented several more than were available in the beta previously. But yeah.
You'll just have to see.
Yeah, and there are no plans on like implementing anything that wouldn't fit into a Man of War game, like automated turrets or something like that. Of course, nothing like that.
Especially that wouldn't fit into the Second World War at the moment.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Alright, Rattle Albinos on Discord is asking, is there any asymmetrical game mode?
Asymmetrical game mode, yeah. In terms of each team having different objectives and kind of different gameplay experience, we've shown that 2 weeks ago. We've played, for example, the incursion mode, which is one of my favorites. And incursion is quite similar to area control in some respects, in that you have these different parts of the map that you need to capture by pushing the front line. But in incursion you can't capture them back. So one team is defending and is owns these positions, and the other team is attacking and needs to take them. But once they capture the point, it disappears from the map. The attackers get victory points, and the defenders stop generating victory points from that. So yeah, the dynamic of the battle is quite different, and it does provide that asymmetrical gameplay.
Thank you very much, Michal. Another question from Zad TV on Twitch. Will there be 1v1 matchmaking in game, or is it more of a team game?
So matchmaking is team-based and will be. I know, unusually short answer.
Yeah, I was waiting for more. Okay, thank you very much, Michal. Question from DS. The buildings on the maps will be destroyed, so I think you've shown that in the previous game, but please answer that one as well.
Yes, buildings are destructible. Let me just find some, maybe I can do a demonstration. Yeah, we don't have a map with really. So yeah. This on the right is before the attack, this on the left is after the attack, for example.
Beautiful demonstration, thank you very much. A question from Cooling, I think this one is from FU Mike. With the new BBR texture support, has the minimum or recommended specs for running the game raised?
I would say so, but only slightly. The base is still the same, more or less. You can still run this on a potato, technically, or what would be considered a potato. It really depends, but we and the devs from Best Play have done everything they could to ensure that even 8 gigs of RAM are enough to run the game on the lower settings smoothly on all the PCs. So I think we have done a tremendous job on that one.
Thank you very much, Mike. Question from YouTube, from Tamash, or it's more of a comment than question. Arcade HP system on tanks. So can we address this issue?
Well, right now we're playing the realism mode where you don't see the hit points by default, but to address it a little more broadly, each and every gem engine based game does employ the what's some players call hit point system. Like every unit does have an overall hit points value, or that can be, of course, displayed as HP bars. And that's true for the old Man of War games, Assault Squad 2, Gates of Hell, or any other gem engine game. The only difference is that Man of War 2 in the default settings is showing these hit points bars and these values. This can be turned off in options, and when playing the realism settings, this is turned off by default. Part of that might also be, or let's say part of the question might also be related to, let's say, armor penetration and destroying certain elements of each unit, and disabling and capturing enemy units. All these mechanics are still present in Man of War 2 in a huge extent, so you might have seen it even on the stream several times. My tank got damaged, and you could see this message that main gun damaged, main gun destroyed, etc. You can still damage or destroy parts of the enemy, parts of a unit that will affect the function. So if you disable the tracks on a tank, it won't be able to move. If you disable the turret, it won't be able to turn the turret and aim the cannon without turning the whole tank. And if you disable the main gun, then it won't be able to fire. Yeah.
Understood, thank you very much. Question from Diversland on Discord. What program do you use to make models for the game?
Michael, do you take that one?
Well, you use the supplied editor that we have. You use the scripting language that comes with it.
And there's definitely answer. Yeah, awesome, thank you very much. Another question from the same person, from Diversland. Is there snowdrift on the snow maps?
I don't think so. If you mean like a properly done snowdrift where the vehicles are slowed down physically by existing snow or ice, no. There are settings specific to this, but there is no snowdrift mechanic as such.
And I've mentioned before like capturing and repairing units, so I'm actually doing that right now. My tank got destroyed, but 2 of the crewmen survived, and I managed to disable an enemy tank shortly before that. So I simply took the 2 tank crew members and asked them to repair the disabled enemy Churchill tank, and I summoned extra tank crews as well. And if everything goes well and we don't get killed before that happens, we'll get ourselves a new captured tank over here.
Yeah, that's a nice story, but could we get the point E, maybe?
Oh, come on, we're doing fine. We don't need to get nervous about that.
Well, you know I prefer that.
Okay, a question from a person with brilliant name, the one that lags. Can you tell us the regions of the world where dedicated servers are located? Can we share that?
We can say that they're located all over the world. yeah, there are multiple locations in these service centers, and we're doing everything we can to ensure that the server access, let's call it, is as smooth and lagless as possible.
And as we are using Amazon infrastructure, as we've mentioned several times,
and
this has been the best choice, it turns out.
absolutely. And we have the Churchill. Let's go.
Awesome, thank you very much for the answer. Question from YouTube from Arabian Legion. Will there be invasion campaign?
Could you specify what that is?
What I understand from that is the Normandy invasion, maybe?
Yeah,
I think
we can freely confirm there is an invasion American campaign. Yeah, we mentioned it before. It's one of the two main American campaigns.
Okay, I'll just comment two things that veterans of our betas will be familiar with, but since I've captured the Churchill tank, it was heavily damaged, so I used the retreat to reserve command, and that means that it retreated outside of the map and would be repaired in time. That time depends on the unit and on the amount of damage it took. So as you can see here...
It also means it will not help me capture point E.
Oh Jesus, you and your point E, come on. Like, you're way too fixated on E that's already been captured anyway. Like,
Yeah, I know, I
it,
did
so...
but...
Yeah, okay. So if we had 20 minutes left in the match, I would be able to use a completely fully restored tank, but since the timer will go out in about 8.5 minutes, that's not gonna happen. And I wanted to show another part of the realism setting, and that's the different ranges on the guns. So in the competitive mode, which is the default as opposed to realism, guns have an unlimited range, but I'm not sure how visible it is now. You can see that I'm trying to aim my Jagdpanther and it's showing me a red value, and I can't hit this King Kong because it's too far. So I need to get closer, and I got stuck on something, sorry about that. I need to get closer, I need to get into range before I can fire. Well, before I can hit the enemy anyway.
Cooling on Discord is asking for a game mode where there would be more than just two teams. For example, King of the Hill or something like that. So, will we have something like that?
Not at launch.
Sounds like one of those good ideas that we will explore. It's been
That's true.
mentioned several times, I think, but as Michael said, not on the launch. But as we've said, anything is possible after.
And if you have any ideas of what you would like to see in the game, we typically encourage you to share your feedback during the public betas, but please do it anytime you feel like it, anytime you have an idea, anytime you have a thought about the game. Feel free to share it with us on Discord especially, and we'll see.
Yeah, in the chat you can find a link to the suggestions and ideas forum where you can share your thoughts, and that's where the ideas belong. Thank you for them. Question from Minmax on Discord. Is there enough time to react to an airplane coming from the side edge of map? It was a big problem in beta test.
Yeah, I can react to this. Technically, the spawn points have been fixed for the maps. The planes are not flying from the sides now. So you'll have plenty of time to react. If you recognize the plane as being a threat to your line. Cal, we are losing points. Could you...
Oh, come on, we've got 3 times as many victory points.
No.
You're getting nervous over nothing, my man.
Okay.
Question from Tandy on Discord: will there be a limit on how many players can be in one game? Like, can I have a modded game with 20 people in one match?
Theoretically, it might be possible, but I can't speak to it because I haven't explored the script as to what it allows beyond the usual boundaries. So you'll have to unlock that and check that out yourselves as modders. This obviously will impact the performance. There is a good reason why there is a limit at the moment. But feel free to explore it.
Thank you very much. Diversand on Discord is asking: is there a solo ranked match, or are there solo ranked matches?
That's a little bit related to a question we've answered before, and that's there are no 1v1 matchmaking games. However, even though they technically can be in combined arms matchmaking, if you can't find enough players, then you will eventually get to a 1v1 match. I think that's been implemented, right, Michal?
Right, come again.
That in matchmaking you technically can end up in a 1v1 match in combined arms matchmaking.
Theoretically, yeah, it's a possibility, but it's not encouraged. Larger matches.
Well, it's not basically like a setting the player could choose, but matchmaking works in a way that it's doing the best to match you up with players in a similar ranking bracket, let's say.
Yep.
And similar geographical location to avoid excessive lag and too high ping, so that well, the battle is actually enjoyable for everyone involved. So if the criteria aren't met, if there aren't players available to match against for let's say a 3v3, which is the maximum in combined arms matchmaking, the servers will try to start a 2v2 game after some time, and if that's not possible, they will eventually start a 1v1 game in a combined arms matchmaking. However, it's not something you can select. But yes, if that 1v1 game starts through matchmaking, it will count towards ranking. So technically you could say that there is some 1v1 ranked games. Yeah.
Alright, for now that's about it with the questions. Everything has been answered so far. It just seems that people really are looking forward for the post-launch content, if there is any. They want the free-for-all mode, which I'm personally also keen to see if there is one to come. That would be really nice.
Yeah, and we'll be done with this match in just over a minute as well. And that will be the end of today's session. So if anyone has any other questions, feel free to ask them now. And of course, it's not the situation that if you don't ask your questions now, you need to forever hold your peace. You can come to our Discord or the Steam discussion forums anytime and ask your questions there. We just think it's a fun way to spend some time showing the game to you and chatting with you all on these live stream sessions. We'll be running the next one in 2 weeks again, and in the Steam announcements we've a little bit hinted on what we'll be showing you then. We're calling the next session Raiding with Friends. And that's all we'll say about it right now. But we'll share more details before the next session. And we're up 2 victories, nice. So yeah, that was combat sectors and area control. Does anyone have any questions? Any follow-ups, anything we haven't been clear enough on before?
Minimax got a question, and he has just typed, "I've got a question." So let's wait for him to write it.
Let's wait for him for what the question is, of course.
Yeah. A person with an emoji in its name, which I can't pronounce, asks, "Add more stormy weather to the environment." So what weather do we actually have in the game right now?
Well, there is a rain option, so you can definitely already play in rainy weather if you choose. And of course, if you leave the environment selection up to random, it's possible that you will encounter it even if you don't choose to. But I don't think there are different rain settings planned for launch now.
The Minimax questions is, I noticed you've got a new victory screen. Does it get in the way if you want to check out the full map after the match finishes?
If you want to view the full map after match finishes, I'm not sure what that would be, but basically maybe the problem is that when the match ends, you don't get to see the whole map before we switch to the victory screen. That's true, but you can always go back and run a replay of any of your past games. So yeah, we just opted for this solution, so everything goes kind of faster. And if you want to examine the match more closely, you can do that through the replay system.
I also have a very small note to the matchmaking itself. I would just like to correct Michal on the fact that we actually do have a filter for both combined arms and the classic, so you can choose whatever configuration available to you, and it will kick you back into the match that you would like to have. So 1v1 possible.
Yeah, it was one of the latest updates, right? I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So
we added it very recently, tested it, works marvelously. I just didn't want to interrupt you, since most of what you said was correct.
What a polite colleague. Alright, one last question from our beloved pastry supplier, Das Altberg. The art for the victory card, the soldier holding flag or weapon at the end of rounds, is lovely. Was it done by a known artist, or goes the credit to a dev?
Michal, would you know that from the top of your head?
You are talking pastry again?
No.
No, it was just to identify Albert. The final artwork, when the game finishes, there is a soldier holding a flag or a weapon. So who has done that artwork?
Well, it's the BW artist,
Yeah, that was the question.
the person who has done everything else and changed all of the art that we've had so far. Frankly, I think it looks much better, especially for the loading screens.
I absolutely agree. It looks lovely. We got a mention of the new victory screen, and actually something that I wasn't able to show in the last stream because I already
You mean
had
the new defeat screen?
no new victory screen.
Well, we've got a new defeat screen as well, but we've
yes,
been unable to show it, thanks to the string of victories that we've had.
So there's one new feature that's coming for launch as well, and it's just a small but extremely useful quality of life improvement. When the battle ends, you can simply send friend requests now to anyone who was in the battle that wasn't in your friends list yet. So you can connect to players you've enjoyed battling with or against much more conveniently now. And I would say, unless we have any more questions popping up, that would be the combat sectors and area control gameplay sessions done. We'll always be here on Discord to chat with you, and we'll be responding to any comments on all our channels, of course. And if you just want to come and watch us play again, we'll be doing another live stream session in 2 weeks. Until then, have a good one, be well, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
See you, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Yep.